In this video, I'm going to do a critical review of the study showing that Carderine caused cancer in Windstar rats.
Who cares if Carderine causes cancer? We're all gonna die of something anyways.
This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this video is medical or legal advice.
Full disclosure, after reviewing the literature, my personal opinion is that I do not feel Carderine causes cancer, but I'm going to try to keep my own perceived bias out of this video, just provide the information so you yourself can make your own decision. So let's talk about cancer. Cancer is very, very interesting. Under normal conditions, when your cells get old, damaged, sick, or anything like that, they will be replaced by new cells. What happens with cancer is that these old cells, instead of being replaced by new cells, these old, damaged, or sick cells start dividing. Now, we actually don't know what causes this. With cancer research, we know what compounds can promote this to happen, but we don't actually know why this happens, because just watching this video right now, you've had 1 million cells in your body be replaced by new cells. For whatever reason, one of those old, sick, or damaged cells isn't replaced by a new cell, and instead it starts dividing. So what happens is you have this old, damaged, sick cell, it's dividing over and over and over and over, and that's why you have a tumor develop, is basically you have all this mass of this sick thing dividing, right? It'd basically be like the garbage in your house just duplicates, and your body's like, what do we do with this? And that's why a tumor forms. So cancer studies are very, very interesting, but that's beyond the point of this video. Carderine is a PPR agonist developed by Ligand and GSK Pharmaceuticals. It is not a hormone, it's not a stimulant. Again, Carderine, I don't really want to talk about that because it's not the purpose of this video. You can watch my other videos on what Carderine is. So let's get into the study itself. I'm going to talk about men. You can see the dosages given for women. Men were given 0, 5, 15, or 30 milligrams per kilogram of body weight for the first 6 weeks. And then for the rest of the study, they were given 0, 5, 20, or 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight for the rest of the study. The entire study was 104 weeks. Now, the first thing you have to do is you can't just say, okay, rats were given 5 milligrams per kilogram. I'm going to take my own body weight, multiply that to get my dosage. No. You have to take that rat dosage and calculate it into a human effective dosage. Now, when it comes to dosages, everything goes into surface area of the body. The number one mistake I see people do when they read rat studies is think, oh, the rats were given 1 milligram per kilogram. I weigh this many kilograms. That many milligrams is my equivalent dosage. No. You have to calculate the human equivalent dosage.
Oh boy, Trevor, that's a lot of math. I'm not very good at math, but I'm really, really strong.
I did these calculations for a man who weighs 90 kilograms, which is roughly 200 pounds. If you weigh more than that, if you weigh less than that, you can just follow my calculations and replace the 90 with however many kilograms you weigh. Just remember, 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So if you know your weight in pounds, you just divide that by 2.2 to get your weight in kilograms. Again, that's kind of not the point of this. If you're slightly more, slightly less, this is all big picture stuff. So for a man that weighs 90 kilograms, the rats were given dosages of 55, 220, or 440 milligrams per day. Again, those are rough numbers. I rounded them, but you can see the actual numbers in the video. So a couple things come to mind when I look at this. The smallest dosage given to the rats was 55 milligrams per day, which is about 5 times more than the average dose. Most people are using 10 to 20 milligrams per day. And that was the lowest dose given. Remember, they were given 55, 220, or 420. So why such high dosages? That's the first thing that really comes to my mind, because the toxicity of just a drug like Tylenol, if you take double the amount of the recommended dosage, it is actually shown to cause toxicity. So why are they using such high dosages right off the bat when drugs that are deemed safe, double the amount of the recommended dosage, is shown to cause toxicity, but these drugs are legal for sale?
Yeah, well, there, little Trevor, kind of sounds like they're intentionally trying to sabotage Carderine. I mean, some of the initial studies were talking about how Carderine could cure cancer, and then they go about doing this study at intentionally toxic dosages for toxic periods of time and then trying to tell us it's toxic. Well, of course it is, you numb nuts. You're running the study to intentionally sabotage what could have been a miracle cancer cure, diabetes cure, heart disease cure, and God who knows what else. Get my boner back working again. God knows what this stuff could do if we could goddamn get a hold of the damn stuff again.
Second thing that I find really odd is that they did this study for 104 weeks. Now, you watching this video are thinking 104 weeks, that's only 2 years. Like, that's a pretty long time to take Carderine, but that's not that excessive. Again, this study was done in rats. The average lifespan of a rat is only about 3 years. Not even that, it's about 2.5 to 3 years. So 104 weeks, that's basically giving Carderine for the entire adolescence of these rats' lives. That would basically be like you taking Carderine from age 18 to 80. Like, that's a long time to be taking this drug.
Well, that Tony Hugh just been taking Carderine for 10 years. You'd think if it causes cancer, he'd have cancer. Oh, what's that? He might have skin cancer and needs another biopsy? Oh dear.
The fact they were given a pretty high dosage, I mean 55 milligrams per day was the lowest dosage given, and the fact they were using it pretty much their entire adult life, you have to really stop and think, would this give me cancer if I was taking 10 to 20 milligrams per day for 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks? The second thing is that there's something called Peter's paradox, which is that not all animals develop cancer at the same rate. Which is really interesting is that, take elephants for example, only about 5% of elephants will develop cancer, which is odd considering 1 in 5 humans will develop cancer. So an elephant containing trillion more cells than humans, it should develop cancer at an accelerated rate than humans, right? You just have to think economies of scale here. More cells, it had to have more genetic predisposition to causing cancer. No, elephants get cancer at about 1/4 of the rate that humans do. There's other animals, like the naked mole rat, which actually don't develop cancer at all. Now, the reason why Winstar rats are always used in cancer studies is because they develop cancer much more easily than humans. Rats, for whatever reason, are genetically predisposed to develop cancer at a much more accelerated rate than humans. So you really can't take a rat study and extrapolate it into a human study. Now, that's not saying like rat studies are bad, because rat studies are definitely beneficial when you're looking at things like digestion and things like that, because their GI tract is almost identical to ours. But when it comes to cancer studies, you really can't take a rat study and correlate it to a human study, because rats genetically develop cancer much easier than humans do. So that's basically the information. I want you to basically just take all that information, make your own decision. I don't want you to assume what I'm telling you is correct. I want you to basically take your own research and do your thoughts. But based on looking at this study and doing a critical overview of it, because the rats were given such a high dosage, again, the human equivalent dosage was 55 milligrams per day, 220 milligrams per day, or 420 milligrams per day. 420 milligrams per day is a lot more than the average human taking 10 to 20 milligrams per day. The fact they gave the rats this dosage for 104 weeks, which is basically their entire adolescence, and the fact that this study was done in rats, not humans, I personally feel that Carderine is safe for human consumption if you are using a responsible dosage and are using it, only 8, 12, maybe 16 weeks, taking time off and then doing that again. This is Coach Trevor on Does Carderine Cause Cancer? Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you found it helpful.